everyone. Good evening, and welcome to Transplant Talk with Nishonda, our Thursday edition. Thank you all for watching. Please feel free to share our video today. And let's not forget to like us on Facebook and like us on YouTube. Again, this is Nishonda Larimore with Transplant Talk and Save 1,000 Lives. And Save 1,000 Lives is a 501c3. We are a nonprofit, and we are about educating, bringing awareness, and definitely, especially in the multicultural community, about the need of organ donations and you becoming an organ donor. So if you are not an organ donor, please feel free to go to Donate Life Florida or register me and complete the application. But one big favor, once you complete the application, please click on Other for how did you learn about Florida's donor registry, and please specify Save 1,000 Lives. And so my goal still is to register 1,000 people to become organ donors. And I cannot wait for COVID-19 to be over so that I can get out in our community and continue to spread the word. I hope this is becoming a topic at your dinner table about the need for organ donor, or would you want your spouse to become an organ donor? Would you allow your spouse to be an organ donor? Those are all great questions. Or would you allow your child to become an organ donor? Again, it's time to sit down and have the conversation, especially if your child is of age and is driving, and God forbid something happens. But would you allow your child to be an organ donor? That also is a great question. So today I have yet another warrior. I'm calling her a queen warrior. And I am just so delighted that she has been brought into my life. She was supposed to be on the telethon that we had on August 29th, but some things happened, and unfortunately, she was not able to be on. But don't worry, she is here today. She is a mother of 4. She's also a registered nurse. She is a breast cancer survivor, and now she is in need of a kidney. So without any further ado, I bring to you, all the way from Chi-Town, that windy city, Miss Christine Ann Hernandez. Guys, please welcome her to the show.
Hi,
Hello.
everyone.
Hi,
Nice to
Cris.
meet
How
you
are
all.
you? How are you?
God bless you all. God bless everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. And our country definitely needs a lot of prayer
Oh, yeah.
and a lot of blessing. So we definitely are sending prayers to everyone. And again, I'm just so delighted for you to be on the show. I promise I won't hold you long, as we were talking backstage. But it was so very important for me to have her on the show. And I say it all the time, how very important knowing your family history is. And Chris's situation is, a little different. But before we dive into that, Christine, can you tell us what life was like before you found out that you needed a kidney?
Um, I, I, uh, I was a nurse. Of course, a mom, very active. I love spontaneity, taking the kids, going out on like weekend trips. In New York City, we used to go to this place called the Poconos. So it's like the
I've been there.
mountains, and we love the Poconos. So like
Um,
every weekend we were over there, and we just like being very active,
Okay.
and this has been a big adjustment for
Yeah,
us.
I'm sure.
Because wherever I go, my machine has to go, and so do dozen of boxes.
Mm-hmm.
So it's an adjustment. It's not unattainable,
Mm-hmm.
but it's just a little extra work, I would say.
Absolutely. Of course, because we know how very important, the machine is to your health and how important you are to your kids. So
That's
taking those extra precautions just to make sure you're safe, even amongst COVID 19, is, very, very necessary. So tell us about your kids. I know you have four beautiful kids.
I,
And
I have Julian. He's 25.
I'm
He's
going to
my
show their picture.
oldest.
Okay.
Yeah, that's Julian, and that's Isabella, and then that's Christopher. That's myself.
Okay.
And then there's another picture of all of us in front of the car. That's Isaiah's there. That's
Okay.
Isaiah, Bella, myself, Christopher, and Julian.
Wow.
Yeah.
Beautiful family.
Thank
Beautiful
you.
family. Wow.
We
And
like
now
doing fun things, you know?
that I mean it's fun. It's a good thing to do fun things. Just always wanted to get out and have a good time. I like that. I like doing stuff like that as well. Um but just to tell us about your journey. Tell us about the beginning of your needing a kidney journey.
I'm gonna bring you back. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Um I when I was in nursing school, I noticed I was tired a lot, and towards the end of nursing school, when I actually graduated, I had a surgery because I was having some hernias, and after the surgery, I felt like it was a constant feeling of like I was working out, but yet I knew I wasn't working out. I was resting because I was healing. I hadn't even gotten my diploma yet. I had finished all my classes. I was waiting for my graduation date, and I told my doctor, I said, "Hey, I'm feeling this fatigue in my body. You wouldn't believe, my muscles are burning me. I have no energy. Like, what's going on with me?" So he says, "I'm gonna do a blood panel and see if there's any kind of inflammation going on." Turned out I got diagnosed with lupus right
Oh,
before graduation.
oh wow. We didn't talk about that
No,
yesterday. Oh
no.
my goodness.
I looked up and I was like, God, I'm supposed to be a nurse, and I'm supposed to help people. So please
Right.
at least allow me to do that, because I vowed to help people uh and pay it forward, because my little guy Christopher, he has autism, and he was a preemie, so he was sick. I wanted to pay it forward to families and treat them better than I was even treated myself and my family, right? So I struggled, being a first I was a mother baby nurse for high risk mother babies, because my goal was to be a NICU nurse.
Mm-hmm.
But like in life, you got to go where God takes you, right?
And right.
I had one
Right.
plan, God had another plan for me.
Right.
And I remember one day feeling sick, and I told one of the nurses, I say, "Hey, I'm not feeling so good. I'm gonna let you hold the baby. I need to sit down." And she said, "Okay, sit down. You look really pale." Next thing you know, I was in the ER. I had passed out. And it was like an exhaustion. It was like an exacerbation. My lupus was just flared.
Wow.
Then my boss, she told me, Christine, we got to have a talk, because I know that your heart and your passion and your soul is being a NICU nurse. I know that's what you want. but there's other things that nurses could do to impact people's lives.
Okay.
Have you ever considered becoming a case manager? Have you ever considered doing other things where you could teach people and do everything all together at once?
Okay.
So then, me being me, I didn't give up. I became a hospice nurse,
Wow.
and
Wow.
I loved hospice. I still love hospice. I love caring for people. I love educating them. I love guiding them, holding their hand all the way, because that's the way I am. Giving my 100% to each and every one, not only the patient, but the whole family.
Right, right.
Because sometimes people disregard the family. The family is just as important as the patient, unless
Right.
the patient don't want you to. You know what I mean?
Right, right,
But
right.
so I became a hospice nurse, and I was a nurse case manager, and then believe it or not, I had a patient sneeze on me, and I was on immunosuppressant drugs, and that little sneeze turned into like this huge pneumonia.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, well, let me pause you for 1 second because you are the second person that I have interviewed that has that same no third, like third person, or at least to be around someone that was sick and their infection invaded their body, and I am just and I fuss about that mask all the time, but I'm gonna rethink that
And
because
I listen, I had my mask, I had my glasses, I had gloves, and I don't know what happened, but I just ended up with a fever and antibiotics. It knocked me off my feet. The
wow.
My boss was like, "Hey Chris, take a little break." So I had to take a month off and finish let my body heal since I had the lupus.
Right, right.
And around that time, my brothers were both diagnosed with kidney failure, and one of them was getting a transplant from his wife.
Wow.
So my kidneys were functioning just fine because, like, in my lab work, I always paid attention to it. It
Mhm.
was like my GFR was above 60, with the little arrow,
Mhm.
and my creatinine was like 1.1, 1.2. So I was like, I'm fine.
Right,
So
right.
I sat down with my PCP. I'm like her worst patient. She's like, whenever Christine comes into the office, I'm in trouble. So I said, can I get a referral? And she says, for what? And I'm like, I think I have kidney disease. She was like, you're a hypochondriac. I was like, no, my brothers both have kidney failure.
Wow.
My my aunt has kidney failure. I've had other people in my family that have had kidney failure. So I want to get checked. And she says, your blood work doesn't show that you do have it, but to satisfy you, I'll give you a referral to a nephrologist. So I went to see a nephrologist, and he's awesome, by the way.
Okay.
Um, he told me, Christine, in a normal case, I wouldn't say let's do something radical, but in your case, I'm gonna bring your case in front of a panel
Okay.
of nephrologists and of my superiors and see if they approve me to get a biopsy of your kidney, because something's telling me that there's something going on in there that's not okay.
Wow.
So that was in 2016.
Mhm.
They did the biopsy, and I was optimistic. I was like, okay, I maybe I am being a hypochondriac, and my doctor was right, but something inside of me was telling me no. So my son and I were. It's always my son and I. He
Mhm.
was with me on the bed in the hospital. We're talking, saying stories, and my doctor walks in and tells me, "Hey, Christine, I had some kind of bad news." And I said, "Tell me." And he says, "Well, you have kidney failure." He says, "Your kidneys are functioning at 30% each."
And you're not feeling. any
No,
results of this?
nothing, nothing. Just a little anemia.
Okay.
That's it.
Wow.
Nothing.
Wow.
No high blood pressure, diabetes, nothing. The only thing I had was the family history.
Right. Right.
And I told my doctor, I was like, okay, thinking like a nurse, can we put a stent in it and open up the arteries and let the blood flow in through my kidneys, and maybe it'll be able to fix what's messed up? And he said no. He said, this is one organ that isn't a smart organ. You're
Hmm.
gonna need eventually a transplant. We
Wow.
can't do a stent. You're too far in to really do any intervention but diet. So I
Okay.
did like a anti-inflammatory diet. I didn't eat any meat. I watched everything for a while, but it progressed really, really fast.
Okay.
And
Okay.
then you could leave them, and that's okay. And then he told me look into transplant lists. So when I got around 20, being proactive, seeing what my brother went through, because my brother would pass out and
Wow.
have like seizures
Mm-hmm.
near the end.
Mm-hmm.
My other brother started dialysis. I'm so sorry, my dog has no manners. He's jumping on top of me. No clues at all. You see, look, he is
It,
so ghetto.
listen, he wants his debut. He wants his debut as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Where is he? He's annoying. My God, that. So
It's okay.
he so I started looking, and I said, why not go to where I work, where I was had my first job there. Like, they have an awesome transplant program. The nurses treat the patients like gold.
Mm-hmm.
The doctors were really good.
Okay.
And I said, you know what? I want to get a transplant there. I was a nurse there. Why not get a transplant there? My
Right.
brother was telling me that his experience at Tampa General was phenomenal also.
Okay.
So I registered at 2018. I started the registration process at Northwestern,
Mm-hmm.
and
Okay.
they tell me what to do, and I do it immediately. Like, I'm not a
Right.
procrastinator. They
Right.
said you need an endoscopy and a colonoscopy. I was like, done. You know what
Let's
I mean?
go. Right.
Uh, you need nuclear medicine stress test, done.
Okay.
Everything that I needed done was done. And then in December of 2018, they told me, Christine, the last thing you need is a mammogram.
Okay. So wait, Christine, before you go there, I want to talk about how what you've been through, knowing your family history, has affected your children or has raised their awareness or heightened their awareness as far as your kidney, as far as kidney disease in your family.
Well, and my kids are very aware, more than your average child. Even
Mm.
my boy that is 13, he's aware, and he has autism of
Okay.
kidney disease,
Okay.
and things that you shouldn't have, things that you could have. In my house, we don't have any ibuprofen. We don't have any Prilosec. Those are two medicines that affect the kidney gravely.
Wow. Wow.
And and also another test that affects the kidney is contrast, the
Oh,
CAT
wow.
scan.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. And
Okay.
being a nurse, I didn't even know that the contrast affected the way it did.
Okay.
But
Is it just one time having it or having it multiple times?
multiple times.
Okay. So you can have it one time
Yeah.
and then possibly just be okay as long as it's something foreign going into the body. But if you have it one time, you're okay.
Yeah.
Okay. See, guys, she's educating us. She's in the field. So this information is very useful. And I know since COVID has started, a lot of talk of don't do Advil and don't do ibuprofen. Like, I don't even take those anymore. I simply take Tylenol. So just being able to have the awareness, your children's are aware of what's going on, and they don't want the same thing to to happen. So everything that you're doing as far as foods in the home, what they're eating, what medicines they're not taking, all of these things are preventative measures, which is good because everyone still don't know their family history. So for you to have all of that history knowledge, that's just excellent. I wish everybody knew, the extent of their family history.
And
So
in
go
some
ahead.
families, it's taboo. So I always told my patients get a baseline of everything.
Right.
So,
Right.
like, get a baseline of your kidney function, and get a baseline of even visual, your vision. Always get baselines of everything so you can know where you started
Mm-hmm.
and know where you're going.
Okay.
Because even with like the lupus
Right.
and the medicine they gave me, I had I the doctor didn't tell me to get a baseline, but I got a baseline vision
Mm-hmm.
because I read that it affects your ocular pressure.
Okay. Wow. Wow.
So um I got that done. And
Mm-hmm.
from there on in, any patient I had that had lupus and took the famous hydroxychloroquine, I
Mm-hmm.
had them get a baseline vision tests.
Okay.
So that way they could know where they were at
Okay.
and compare every year with where they're going, and just making sure that it's not affecting their vision, because that's one medicine that does affect
Wow.
the vision.
Wow.
Some people it doesn't, some people does.
Okay. So you're so knowledgeable, and I definitely appreciate you educating the audience, and hopefully this brings their awareness, and maybe they will do some of the things that you suggested. So I want to go back for a minute because now you're fighting kidney disease, you're fighting lupus, but that wasn't it. Your faith, you were really being tested in this moment. So you were hit with another blow.
Yes. So December, they told me to get the mammogram. So every year I got my mammogram, and every year the mammogram was okay.
Okay.
And so I said, so this is the last test, and then I'll get on the list.
Mhm.
So when I got the mammogram, they said, okay, Miss Hernandez, we got to repeat and do another mammogram just to take a better look, and we're going to do an ultrasound.
Okay.
So they did that. And then I had a radiologist come and talk to me, and she said, we see some areas that don't look normal,
Mhm.
but don't look terrible. So we just want to make sure it's fatty tissue or a cyst, and not something that we have to worry about. So they
Okay.
did what they call a stereotactic mammogram.
Okay.
So it's a mammogram where you lay down on your stomach, and
Mhm.
they precisely go to the area that they feel that needs to be checked, and then they biopsy it.
Okay.
So and then they did both sides. So and then
Wow.
on the left side, I got diagnosed with stage 0 ductus uh um ductal cell carcinoma in situ. So it's like
Mhm.
the very beginning stages of breast cancer.
Okay.
And then on the left side, I had atypical hyperplasia. So it was like a precancer to cancer. So
Wow.
um, the transplant center said, Miss Hernandez, we won't ever transplant someone that has risk or has cancer, because the medicines that we give you can cause cancer. So we won't take a chance. So then I said, so what I have to do, because I need my life, I don't need my boobs.
Right.
Like,
Right.
I was crying at that point,
Right. Right.
because I'm like, God, like this has been
A lot.
a lot, and
Yeah.
I don't know what to do, but all I know is that I wanted to live,
Right.
you know?
Right.
And so I told the doctor, I said, can you guys talk to each other? Because I felt like I was the middleman and talking to everybody, but I needed somebody to talk for me, you know?
Yes, absolutely.
So
Do
and
you have a
then
light? Do you have a light you could turn on?
yeah, I do.
Okay.
Let me turn it on.
Okay.
Hold on a second. I'm so
All right.
sorry. I'm
It's
in the dark.
okay. It's okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna just put her little mic, put her on mute for a second, guys. If you hear this woman's, phenomenal story, and yeah, I just wanted everybody to be able to see her, um, a lot better, and how beautiful she is, and she's definitely man, she's a warrior, she's a fighter. So, guys, if you all can, please continue to lift her up in prayer. She definitely needs a donor, and man, what she's gone through, I can't even imagine. I know we've all had our tests and trials, but I mean, what a testimony she's gonna have when she beats it yet again, and receives an organ donor, a living donor, or a deceased donor. We just need everyone in this country with over 100,000 people needing a kidney, needing a transplant, needing the gift of life. At least 88% of people need a kidney, and she's one of them. And we know, unfortunately, every 10 minutes a person is added to the national transplant waiting list, and 22 people die every day while waiting. And we don't want that to be Christine Ann's story. She has 4 children that needs her. She has a princess that needs her mom, and we know what her family history is. But if everyone, I do know that she has information, available. And I know you were talking about your battle with breast cancer. Um, what information can you give to our audience for them to be able to say, okay, maybe I'll go get tested, or what else do they need to know? How can they help you, Christine?
To get tested for me, or I'm over here thinking like a nurse to check
Okay.
their breasts.
For you right
Okay.
now, we're thinking for you, your blood type, where you registered, what can people do?
I'm registered at Northwestern Memorial Hospital here in Chicago.
Okay.
So the website there, they do an online, it's called a Breeze application. That's like the
Okay.
initial questionnaire.
Okay.
So it's www.nmlivingdonor.org.
Okay.
And then I'm registered at University of Madison, Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm.
And that one's Can I Be a Donor? I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
He's just not behaving. Moosey, go. And then I'm gonna be hopefully registering at Tampa General.
Okay. And you're
And
coming down to Florida.
yes,
Bring some of the cold air. Just bring some cool air with you, down down to Florida. We definitely love it. We would definitely love it. So, ladies and gentlemen, you've heard, where you could possibly contact the websites to possibly go to, and I just want you to continue the rest of your story for your breast cancer.
so I had March of 20. Hi Verna, I'm so sorry. My dog is being very bad.
It's
Could I
okay.
could
It's
I
okay.
just move him really quick?
Okay.
All right.
Okay. And I'll say hi to Miss Verna. Hi, Miss
Okay.
Verna. How are you? And yeah, she does wish want you to hang in there, Christina. And then, of course, they're both Marshall Williams. She's also a kidney warrior. Miss Verna and Marshall are kidney warriors, and they're both praying for you. And again,
Thank you.
Marshall was on the show. Miss Verna was on the show. They are Queen Warriors as well. And Marshall actually had two kidney transplants. And of course, we met Miss Verna and Jamie. So I wanted to, again,
God bless them.
right, you are not by yourself. You have some people that have experienced what you've been through. So I'm grateful, and I know something positive or something good will happen. And before we leave, I wanted you to just share the conversation that you had with your son today.
So my son, he wanted to register to be my donor, and he's like, "Mom, I'll I'm gonna get emotional." Um,
Okay.
he said, "Mom, I want to give you my kidney," and I said, "You can't because we all have kidney disease in my family." And he said, "Mom, it's okay. When I turn 40, I could get a kidney transplant."
Oh,
And I said,
wow.
"No, because you need both your kidneys.
Wow.
Um, be- I know that you would give your life for me, like I would give my life for you, but you need both your kidneys." And he says, "But I want you around." And I said, "I'm gonna be around. I said, just we have to have faith in God because God's gonna send the perfect match."
Wow.
And he insisted on going to the hospital and getting checked. And I say God intervenes for reasons, right?
Right, right.
And it turns out that he is already spilling protein in his urine.
Oh no.
So he has to see a nephrologist now, and he's only 25.
Oh
Um,
wow.
because they're gonna want to check him to see if he has the same thing I have.
Right, right,
And
right.
I told him, I said, well, you're young enough to where you could prolong your life and live healthy and live fine and not have to worry about every single day of your life, but live good, live healthy, and
Right.
get yourself a good team of doctors.
Right. Right.
But if we wouldn't have gone, we wouldn't have known
Wow.
that he has something going on in his kidneys,
Already. Wow.
so
Wow.
young.
Wow.
And he was willing to like sacrifice himself for me, and I told him, I said, I'll be around, I'll be around. God is going to permit that. I
Yes.
said, but I said, I don't want you to sacrifice. I said, first of all, doctors won't let you sacrifice yourself for me. Um, and second of all, I want you to live too. So we were having this argument on who's gonna live.
Who wants to live longer? Right.
And I said, you're
Oh
supposed to
wow.
live longer. You're my son.
Right. Right.
And but he wanted a test so bad for me because he wants to give me a chance. And he says, you have to be a nurse, you have to do so many things still. I said, well, you have the beginning of your life, and you have to live your life too. So we're both
Right.
even. I said, nobody's gonna beat nobody here. I said, you gotta live and I gotta live. you know
Exactly. Exactly.
um
Exactly.
but he's so selfless that he wanted to just sacrifice himself for me.
What an angel.
And he's my caregiver. He stopped and paused his whole life for me.
Wow.
He's the one that does my dialysis. He's my angel. He has good hands. And he has patience, and he's an amazing human being.
Wow. Wow. And what's his name again?
Julian.
Julian.
Yeah.
Sweet Julian. That's just beautiful. That's
Yeah.
beautiful I mean, we all love our mamas, you know. We never want any, I mean, we love our parents, we love our parents, but uh, love mama, that's the first thing football players say. Yeah, hey mom, so, well, see, here's my mom. My prayers are with you, Miss Hernandez. So that's my mama,
Thank you.
Gwen.
Oh, thank you.
Um,
Tell I said
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah. Mom, she says thank you. so so she's watching. So again, ladies and gentlemen, if you can, I promised her I would not hold her long. Yes, God bless
If you have
Julian.
any questions, you could ask, or even like about screenings, and the process and
Right.
advocating. You
Right.
could you could ask away because I'm pretty good at asking questions.
Okay.
you
And,
know,
and and
for
rightfully
myself.
so. A lot of people don't advocate for themselves, but look at God's way of intervening, having you be a nurse and know those types of questions to ask for, and then again having that knowledge and know-how, and knowing what to do, and being obedient when the doctors are telling you to, hey, do something, or and then you're right on it. So that is a blessing within itself. So I believe if you stay prayed up and you stay obedient, God will give you the desires of your heart. And we're praying that you're not on this list for 10 years or 8 years. We're praying that because we know there's some other complications. You were saying what makes your transplant a little tricky as well.
Because I have a high antibody count.
Okay.
When I had my double mastectomy, I had a little bleeding, so I had to get transfusion, and that caused my antibody count to get to 100.
Okay.
So basically, I have to find the perfect match in order to get a transplant,
Okay.
and I know that person's out there.
Right.
When when I came into the whole kidney failure world, um, I had lost control of my life because I didn't know how to fix it.
Right. Right. We always want to fix stuff now.
Yeah,
We want to fix it.
and I got
Right.
just down on my knees and I broke down and I asked God. I had never given my life to God, but I gave my life to God then. It's going to be a year now.
Oh
And
wow.
I said, God, I know I can't fix it because I'm not specialized in what I needs to be done, but you can, because you're
Amen.
amazing and you're a God of miracles.
Amen.
And the only way that I'm going to get better is through your mercy.
Amen.
and
Amen.
and and I believe that, because this, I can't fix it, no doctors can fix it,
Right.
but God can fix it.
Amen. It's in God's hands.
It is in God's hands.
And yes, and we always have to trust and believe in Him. And we always look and maybe compare ourselves to other people and what they're going through. Everybody wants to be somebody famous until that famous person goes through something. Then you begin to change your mind. Nope, don't want to do that. So. Um, I totally believe that Jesus saved. He saved me. I definitely believe it, and these are things that I was taught. In my home with my parents. My father's a minister, so I'm deep rooted. Father's a minister, grandfather, other next grandfather, like all ministers is in our family. But I just my prayers for you is that you are healed from everything. And believe it or not, in our family, my older sister has dealt with lupus and breast
Oh
cancer.
wow.
And I've had another gentleman, his name is Emmett, he was on the show. And he lives in California. He has lupus.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and so we know that is extremely rare.
Yes.
So for he's had it. He's had it for a long
And it's
time.
more aggressive in males than it is in females. It's the opposite.
Right. So he shared his story and what he's doing. Um, well, Marcel's saying my antibodies was 0. Please share how the antibodies affect the match. Okay.
Oh, okay. So, with the antibodies, um, so say if it's 0, you have a higher chance of getting a match because your body's not going to fight off
Okay.
the potential donor.
Okay.
But when you're 100, you're
Wow.
fighting 100% of the population.
Woo.
So I
Wow.
had to find like the perfect match because
What does that look like? How is it? How do you
it's
find
really
perfect?
hard. Um, they said just have a lot of faith. The
Right.
doctor said, believe it or not.
Does the antibodies ever change? Like, can it come down from 100?
Sometimes it does. You know, I believe I have faith that it will,
Okay. We have faith. We touching and
you know?
agreeing then. We will touch and
Yeah.
agree.
Because 100% is like the highest it could get, doesn't get any higher,
Oh, wow.
you know? But uh, I was like flabbergasted when it went up to 100. I was like, oh my goodness. When the blood was going into my body that I was getting transfused, I started crying. And my ex back then, he was like, why are you crying? I said, because it's it's like I'm saying goodbye to my transplant. And he was like, what do you mean? I said, it's going to be so hard to get a transplant because of the blood that's saving my life right now.
Oh, wow.
And he said, you think so? I said, I feel it, you know? I said, we just have to have faith.
Yes. Wow. So, a good question. Does this mean you need a donor with 100% antibodies also?
No, the lower the antibodies, the better it is.
Okay.
So, like, if I
Okay.
get a donor that has zero,
Mm-hmm.
it'll be a lot easier for
Okay.
me to get a transplant than someone with like high antibodies.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you, Marshall, for for these questions because I feel as if I'm chartering in new territory because there's so much involved, in this case because we know all cases are different. So for you are on a transplant list and you
Yes.
have been on there for how long now?
Um, I'm gonna go a year and a half
A year and a
officially on the list, but
half. Okay.
applying 2 years.
Okay. Okay. Now, did these antibodies kind of go up every month, or has it just been there since you received the blood?
Since I received the blood July 2019.
Okay. Now, will that involve like a? Would you ever have to do another blood or do a blood transfusion, or
They're trying to avoid that.
they're trying to avoid blood transfusions? Oh wow. Yeah, this is a lot. That you have a lot to unpack.
So I have
Um.
to like manage
Mhm.
my blood count.
Mhm.
So like we have like an algorithm going in my with my nephrologist
Okay.
where I have a maintenance dose of like Procrit, so that makes that builds my blood.
Okay.
So they don't let it go under a certain number or above a certain number.
Okay.
So that way I could stay within like a good range. That way if they call me and say, "Hey, you're ready for transplant," I'll be ready.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
God
And of
bless
course
you.
eating healthy and stuff like that. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I don't know, like Marshall definitely, let us know that she was the way she eats and she was able to have her kidney transplant for 30 plus years.
Wow. What's a secret?
Besides God and the way she eats,
Yes.
um, and she was able to receive her first, like she had two kidney transplants, but she was able to just recently receive another one. And so of course, Michelle, I'm gonna need you on this show. Are you listed with multiple hospitals?
Yes.
Oh yeah, you said you're gonna go to Tampa,
Yes.
and you're also in Hampton,
Wisconsin
Wisconsin.
and Northwestern, and
Okay.
then I'm gonna try to apply at Mayo,
Okay.
Arizona,
Okay.
and
Oh
also
wow.
John Hopkins.
Okay. Well, the more you get out there, the better. And Marshall, um, it was her brother that was a match for her.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So yeah, and that happened many moons ago, as well. But I was young enough to remember when that happened. So If there's one thing that you can say to our viewers in order for them to become a match or become organ donors, what would you say before
I
we
will.
wrap it up?
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
So if say apply for me or apply for anyone, right?
Yeah.
You could go to your local hospital and you could say, I want to become an organ donor. Um, Me specific, you could go to the hospitals that I'm listed at, and just all you need is my name and my date of birth, so you could apply for me. But just applying in general, all you need is one kidney to survive. And then the other kidney compensates and actually does a job for both kidneys, and you live a normal life. All you need is one kidney to survive.
Okay.
Um, but I mean, just the gift of life giving forward is amazing. If we had enough people stepping forward and just being donors, there would be like a surplus. There wouldn't be a waiting list here in the
Right.
United States.
Right. With
And
over
I think that would,
100,000 people.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it would be amazing if just one person, for each person, would step forward and say, hey, I want to donate a kidney. And it's scary, but for those parents that are getting teenagers that are starting to drive, it's important to have that talk. Hey, um, I want to have do you want to be an organ donor? Why? Because I even have to talk with my 15-year-old. um, Driving and accidents are the number one cause of death in
Right.
teenagers in the United States.
Right.
So, just registering for don't to be an organ donor is so important. I'm a registered organ donor. The only thing they don't want is my kidney,
Right.
but but
Right.
I'm a registered. So are my kids. So
Right.
I think that's an important conversation. It's a good dinner time conversation to have.
And there he is. This is Emmett. He says amen to that. We need each person to step up. And he's the one with lupus.
Oh, hi,
Yeah.
Emmett. How are
Yes.
you?
Yeah.
Nice to
Emmett,
meet
I
you.
don't know if you've seen, but she also has lupus. Um, and he's doing some amazing things over in California. So maybe you all can connect if maybe if all of the kidney transplant recipients and people that are in waiting can get together. And I know they have maybe a room that you all can go and only talk about things that we don't know about.
Yes.
To have that support, I feel as if that would, just be absolutely great to do that. So he says, hey. Um, so I want to
I
thank,
would love that. That would be amazing.
yeah, yeah, guys, y'all, reach out to them. You could, see it in the video and send them a hello or a friend request. So I love just bringing people together. And he says yes. He would love that. So please, just reach out to them because they've been through it. They are tried and true. And, you all have such amazing stories and testimonies. And again, thank you, Christine, so
Thank
much
you. Thank
for being a
you.
part and educating us on these things that we need to know, which is very, very important. So thank you again. I want you to wait right there. I'm going to close out the show,
Okay.
and we'll be right back.
All right.
Thank you
Thank you so
again.
much.
Thank
God
you.
bless you guys.
You too. All right, guys. I again thank you all so much for coming on and jumping on Marshall, Emmett, Miss Johnson, Miss Verna. She almost got me, but I didn't cry. All right, she almost got me because that was very special of Julian and Mom. Thank you for your prayers for her, guys. Please tune in next week where my special guest will be the Butler family. I'm so excited about the Butler family being on. And again, they have an amazing story. Such an amazing story. I'm not even going to tell you. But just know, you don't want to miss this show just like you did not want to miss this show with Christine. And my heart goes out to her and her family again. Become an organ donor. Become an organ donor. Get tested. Anyone that can help her in any kind of way. She's going to come on down here to Florida and try to get there in Tampa where her family is as well. She's in Chicago. She's in just in different places, just trying to see if she can, get that special match. But we know it's a special case. All right, I'm going to leave you all. I have grades to do, which I do tomorrow. And so God bless you all. Good night, and tune in next week. And don't just meet me here, beat me here. God bless you.